Alright guys, this is H4T. Got another video here for you. I want to address something that I was seeing a lot of comments about on my channel. And it comes from something I said when I was showing my new Smith & Wesson VTAC M&P 9mm. Basically, in that video, I had said that I didn't mind the loaded chamber indicator witness hold on top of the Smith & Wesson, but if I had my choice, it wouldn't be there at all. And somebody wanted to know why, and started posting in the comments in one of my videos. And let me go ahead and break this down for all of you and explain to you my feelings on the loaded chamber indicator and why I'm so against it. Number one, you should be competent enough to know what condition your gun's in at all times. If you don't think that you are competent enough, if you think that you need to rely on a bar on top of the barrel hood, or a hole, or a piece sticking out of the side of the frame of the gun to show you that there's a round in the chamber, you might want to question yourself on whether you should carry or have firearms. That's my opinion, guys. Now, I'm going to talk a little bit about California. Before I talk about California, let me clearly state something up front. The things I say, in my opinions expressed about California, do not apply to those people that I know on here that are pro-gun, pro-freedom, pro-constitution, and happen to live in California. I know that sometimes circumstances happen, things happen. You may have a family, you just can't pack up and move to out of the state, like some would tell you to. So let me tell you first and foremost that I have the utmost respect for anyone, no matter where they live, if they are pro-gun, pro-freedom, pro-constitution, and, just pro-gun in general. So the comments I make about California does not apply to everyone in California. Okay, got that out of the way. Okay, let's talk about the loaded chamber indicator. And some of the ways they're used on different model guns. Now, in my opinion, the best loaded chamber indicator out there, and this was just genius. This gun company came up with a genius idea. Because, well, we'll get into the other part in a little bit. Glock's loaded chamber indicator is basically, they said, okay, we'll put a loaded chamber indicator on our gun for California, because California has a law that any gun that comes into the state has to have a loaded chamber indicator. So what Glock did was Glock just made it to where that when you chamber around, their extractor sticks out about 2 or 3 millimeters more than what it should. Genius, I tell you. They didn't cut a hole in the frame. They didn't drill a hole in the barrel. They didn't cut nothing out of the gun. They just simply said, okay, here's your loaded chamber indicator. The extractor sticks out 2 or 3 millimeters more than what it normally would. You can feel it with your finger. That's just genius, okay? Now, the second least obtrusive loaded chamber indicator that I know of, Pro Football Hall of Fame, everybody, the bridge. Now, the second most least obtrusive loaded chamber indicator that I know of is the Smith & Wesson M&P. Now, Smith & Wesson did not cut into the firearms frame. What they did was they made a little hole in the barrel, which can easily be replaced if something were to happen. That witness hole is unobtrusive. It doesn't stick up. It doesn't stick out. It doesn't get in the way. It's just, it's just there. So, that would probably be my choice for the second best loaded chamber indicator would be the Smith & Wesson M&P, just for the fact that it doesn't get in your way anytime. Nothing sticks up. Now, the least liked chamber indicator on my list. I got to give it to the XD and the Rugers. The XD literally has a bar in the frame of the gun that rides up and sticks up like a big red ramp when you chamber a gun. Now, I'm not putting down the XD firearm. I've owned them. I've fired them. Fired great for me. Ultra reliable for me. But I do have a problem with the ramp that they call a loaded chamber indicator. Now, why do I hate loaded chamber indicators so much? Because California made a law where that any gun that comes into that state for sale has to have a loaded chamber indicator. Therefore, the gun companies put loaded chamber indicators on their guns so that they could sell and be California compliant. So because commie liberal Hitler-like gun laws, and that's what they are, Hitler gun laws that California has, it affects me clear over in Ohio. That is my main problem with your loaded chamber indicators. Because some stupid communist Hitler-like country, or Hitler-like state, and when I say Hitler-like, I'm talking about the people in the government that are anti-gun, not the citizens. Hitler wanted to ban all guns. It was the first thing he did. He said no population will be armed. All guns were confiscated and strictly enforced. This is what you see in California. So because of California, the nanny state doesn't feel that anybody in their state is competent enough to own a firearm without some big red chunk of metal sticking up saying, hey, it's loaded. They pretty much forced loaded chamber indicators on the entire country. Now, at least with their stupid 10-round mag thing, the gun makers went ahead and made 2 different sets of mags so that we can still get... Come on, would you just merge? Jeez! Sorry, guys. People just want to lollygag. Okay. So, the nanny state doesn't feel that you are competent enough to own a firearm without something and warnings telling you that it's loaded. What does that tell you about what the politicians think of you? You can have 10 safeties on a gun. Your safety is between your ears. Will always be between your ears. Because if the wrong person gets a gun with 10 safety levers, that person will somehow find a way to make that gun fail and discharge if they're not competent. So, I don't like the fact that because of a nanny state law, it affects me clear over in Ohio. That's my main beef with loaded chamber indicators. I know what condition my gun is in. And if I don't, I check. And because I am so religious with gun safety, before I holster sidearms, even though I know there's a round in there, every gun is always treated as loaded, I still will do a check that takes me 0.5 of a second. Okay, there it is. I see it. It's visual. For the rest of the day, I'm good. If I don't fire that gun at the range or, do anything with it, I know what condition that gun is in at all times. I don't need California. I don't need their laws. I don't need them telling me how smart I am when it comes to handling guns and what warnings I should have. I don't want big ramps coming out of the frame of my gun. I don't want California affecting me. I wish all these gun makers would just say, you know what, California? Forget you. We're not going to sell guns in your state. Well, that's what they would probably like. But hey, to you gun owners in California that don't like the way that the politicians treat you, and you're pro-freedom, pro-constitution, I have nothing but love for you. And I hope and wish that one day things turn around, or that things get better for you, or you can move to a different state. But to all you anti-gunners in California, I got no love for you. All right, guys, until next time, this is H4T, and I'm out.